The moment that defines a life, ladies and gentlemen. There comes a moment in every life when a person looks in the mirror, not to check their hair, not to check their appearance, but to check their truth. A moment when the eyes looking back are asking one quiet question. Are you building something that will outlive you, or are you simply passing time? I want to begin with a story, a simple one, about a man who used to walk past an old construction site every day. The workers were slow, the progress almost invisible. One day, frustrated, he said to one of them, "How long will this take? Why is it so slow?" The worker smiled and said, "Sir, we're not building for the next season. We're building for the next century." Those words changed the man. They might change you too, because you and I, we're building something far more important than a structure of bricks or steel. We're building a life, a legacy, a story, a name, a future. And the philosophy that carries us through this journey is simple: build today, live forever. Not literally forever, but in the ways that matter, in the people you touch, in the life you shape, in the strength you forge, in the habits you cultivate, in the choices you make today that echo long after you're gone. Tonight, I want to take you on a journey, not through theory, not through empty inspiration, but through 7 deep truths that shape lives, sharpen character, and sculpt destiny. These truths are not steps or instructions. They are chapters of the soul, unfolding one after another, building upon each other like the layers of a foundation meant to hold the weight of a great future. So settle in, open your heart, and let the voice inside you become louder than the noise around you. There is a sacred power in the very first step you take toward the life you desire, and yet it is the step most people never take. The courage to begin is not about confidence, not about readiness, not about having the resources or the applause of the world. It is about one simple, profound truth: the willingness to say yes to your future, even when your present feels uncertain. Every great transformation in history, every legacy that outlived its creator, every success story that inspires us today began with one moment. The moment someone decided, "I will begin, even though I am afraid." When we talk about building today so that we may live forever, we are talking about the courage to put your hands on the raw materials of your life and start shaping them, even when you don't quite know what the final masterpiece will look like. Think of the seed buried in the dark soil. It does not wait for sunlight to appear before it decides to grow. It pushes upward blindly, trusting that the light it cannot yet see is waiting for it. You must do the same. Beginning requires trust, not in circumstances, not in timing, but in yourself. Even when everything around you whispers, "Not now," your heart must whisper louder, "Start now." A fear will always try to negotiate with your destiny. It will tell you that you are unprepared, unqualified, too late, too early, too tired, too busy. But greatness does not come to the perfect, it comes to the brave, and bravery is rarely loud. It is often quiet, trembling, unsure, but moving anyway. The courage to begin is the courage to step into a story whose ending you cannot see yet. It is the courage to show up when no one is clapping, to believe in something that has not yet taken shape, and to honor a calling that only your heart can hear. Some people wait for a sign. They wait for a perfect day, for a surge of motivation, for a guarantee that the path will be smooth. But beginnings do not come gift, wrapped with assurance. They come with the unknown. They come with uncertainty. And that is what makes them powerful. If your beginning required no risk, it would require no courage. And if it required no courage, it would produce no growth. The stories worth living and worth leaving behind are built at the intersection of fear and faith. Think about the builders of old, the ones who raised temples, towers, and monuments that still stand generations later. They began with hills of stone, with blisters on their hands, with doubts in their minds. But they started. They placed the first brick. And when you place the first brick in the construction of your life, You signal to the world, to your future, and to yourself that you are ready to create something that matters. The courage to begin is not measured by how loudly you start, but by how honestly. It is about looking your excuses in the eye and choosing to rise anyway. It is about accepting that the version of you required for your future cannot appear until you take the first step. You do not become strong before beginning. You become strong by beginning. You do not become wise before beginning. You become wise through the journey. The path shapes you, but the path cannot shape a person who refuses to step onto it. There will be people who doubt you. Sometimes those people will be strangers. Sometimes they will be people you love. And sometimes the loudest doubter will be the voice inside your own mind. But voices do not decide your destiny. Decisions do. And the moment you decide to start, truly start, the universe begins rearranging itself to meet your courage. Helpers appear. Opportunities emerge. Strength awakens. Momentum builds. But none of these gifts arrive until you take the first step. Life rewards the brave, not the hesitant. Tonight, as you breathe, reflect, and feel the weight of your untapped potential, ask yourself, what has been waiting for me to begin? What future have I delayed because fear disguised itself as logic? What dream has been calling my name while I pretended I couldn't hear it? You owe it to yourself to answer honestly. More importantly, you owe it to yourself to act. The courage to begin is the first brick of your forever. It is the moment your legacy opens its eyes. It is the moment you transform from someone who dreams into someone who builds. And once you begin, truly begin, nothing will ever be the same again. Before any great life is built on the outside, it is built on the inside. There is a sacred contract you must sign with yourself long before the world ever witnesses your rise. I call it the inner agreement. A quiet, unbreakable promise between who you are today and who you are destined to become. Without this inner agreement, every dream remains a possibility instead of a reality. Every goal becomes a negotiation instead of a commitment. But with it, your life shifts. Your choices align. Your energy strengthens. Your future begins to move toward you with a force you can feel in your bones. Most people speak of their dreams with passion, but live their habits with hesitation. They say, I want to become more. Yet their actions whisper, but not today. They pray for growth, but cling to comfort. They desire transformation, but still dance with old identities that no longer serve them. And this is why so many lives stay trapped in cycles. Because their dreams and their decisions never shake hands. The inner agreement is the moment these two finally meet. It begins quietly. It begins internally. It begins when you decide that your life will no longer be governed by moods, excuses, or circumstances. Instead, it will be governed by vision. It is the moment you tell yourself, I am willing to pay the price for the future I see. Every great destiny has a price: time, discipline, sacrifice, consistency. And until you internally agree to pay that price, the universe will not open the doors meant for you. Think about a builder standing in front of an empty plot of land. The soil is bare. The space is silent. Nothing remarkable has happened yet, but the builder carries a blueprint, a vision, a commitment. And that blueprint is enough to begin. Your inner agreement is your blueprint. It is the invisible architecture of the life you are shaping, brick by brick, day by day. Even when nothing around you looks like the future you desire, the agreement keeps you aligned, anchored, and advancing. The truth is, your future is already waiting for you, stronger, wiser, more powerful, more purposeful. That future self is standing somewhere ahead of you, whispering, come, I am real. I exist, but I cannot appear unless you walk toward me. And every decision you make either moves you closer or pushes you further away. The inner agreement is the vow that you will no longer abandon the person you could become. Ask yourself a powerful question. If the future version of me, the one who made it, the one who rose above, the one who became everything I dream of, walked into the room right now, Would they be proud of the choices I made today? This question has the power to humble you and awaken you at the same time. Because deep down, you know when your actions betray your destiny. You know when you settle. You know when you delay. And you know when you're living beneath your potential. The inner agreement demands honesty, not with society, not with friends, but with yourself. It is easy to lie to others, but impossible to lie to the destiny inside you. Your future self can feel when you are committed and when you are pretending, and life responds accordingly. Once you sign that invisible contract, life begins to test you. Not to punish you, but to strengthen you. Every challenge becomes a question. Do you still agree? Every temptation becomes a whisper. Do you still want this? Every setback becomes an invitation. Will you continue or collapse? And with every yes, something inside you grows. Your spine straightens. Your resolve deepens. Your faith magnifies. The inner agreement transforms your identity. You stop identifying with your past and start identifying with your potential. You stop reacting to life emotionally and start responding to it intentionally. You stop living like a wanderer and start living like a builder. Deliberate, focused, anchored. People around you may not understand this shift. They may say you've changed, and they will be right. Because you cannot agree with your future and remain the same. You cannot sign a contract with greatness and continue thinking like limitation. You cannot embrace destiny while clinging to old excuses. The inner agreement requires you to rise, not suddenly, not perfectly, but consistently. When you truly agree, deeply, fully, your daily actions begin to match your long-term vision. You wake with purpose. You move with clarity. You choose what aligns and release what doesn't. You stop chasing shortcuts and commit to the process. And the beauty of this agreement is that once your inner world aligns with your future, your outer world begins to shift in extraordinary ways. Opportunities you once overlooked now stand out. Strengths you doubted now emerge. Patterns that once held you back now break. Your future is not created the day you achieve your goals. It is created the day you make the inner agreement to honor them. And once that contract is signed, your destiny no longer becomes a dream. It becomes a direction. Struggle is a word many fear, many avoid, and many wish they could remove from their lives entirely. Yet struggle is the very force that shapes every extraordinary human being who has ever risen above mediocrity. If you look closely at the people you admire, the ones who inspire you, the ones who leave a mark, the ones who live forever in the stories of humanity, you will find that their greatest strengths, their deepest wisdom, and their most enduring character were all forged in struggle. It is not the smooth paths that carve greatness, but the rough ones. And though we often wish for easier days, it is the difficult ones that define us. Struggle is not a sign that something is wrong with your journey. More often, it is a sign that something meaningful is unfolding. When life places weight on your shoulders, it is not trying to crush you. It is trying to prepare you. A seed cannot become a tree unless it breaks open. Gold cannot become pure unless it is refined by fire. And a human being cannot become powerful unless they are tested by challenge. Struggle is the silent architect of your strength. It builds you quietly, invisibly, faithfully. When you first face struggle, it feels personal. It feels targeted. You may ask, why me? Why now? Why does it have to be so hard? But struggle does not choose you to hurt you. It chooses you because something inside you is ready to grow. Growth never feels like comfort. Growth feels like stretching, breaking, bending, rebuilding. Growth demands that you let go of the old version of yourself so the new one can rise. And struggle is the bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. Most people try to avoid struggle because they see it as a threat to their stability. But what they fail to realize is that avoiding struggle is the fastest path to a weak, forgettable, unremarkable life. You cannot build today and live forever if you keep running from the very process that makes you unforgettable. Strength is not born in comfort. Comfort breeds repetition. Repetition breeds stagnation. And stagnation breeds regret. But struggle breeds evolution. The beauty of struggle is that it reveals your truth. When everything is going well, you do not know your endurance. You do not know your patience. You do not know your courage. You do not know your capacity. Only when life presses against you do you discover how much you can truly handle. Only when dreams feel far away do you learn how committed you are. Only when setbacks knock you down do you learn the depth of your resilience. Struggle strips away the unnecessary and exposes the essential. It introduces you to the strongest parts of yourself, the parts you didn't know were there. Think of a person climbing a mountain. The air becomes thin, the climb becomes steep, the body becomes tired, but the higher they climb, the more breathtaking the view becomes. The mountain never apologizes for its difficulty. It simply waits at the top with a reward that only the climbers, not the watchers below, will ever experience. Life is the same. The struggle is steep, the air is thin, the climb is exhausting, but the perspective you gain once you rise is worth every step. Do not despise your struggle, study it, learn from it, honor it, for within it lies the wisdom your future requires. Every challenge you face today becomes a chapter of strength you will use tomorrow. Every tear you shed becomes a seed of compassion. Every setback becomes a lesson in strategy. Every failure becomes a stepping stone toward mastery. Struggle expands your capacity to lead, to love, to endure, to believe. And here is the truth that many refuse to accept. The life you dream of will demand a stronger version of you. Your destiny is not built for your current self. It is built for your evolved self. And evolution requires friction, pressure, and breaking. Not to destroy you, but to rebuild you into someone capable of carrying the weight of your future. So when struggle shows up at your door, do not treat it as an enemy. Treat it as a mentor, a sculptor, a guide. It is shaping you into someone the world will remember. Someone who does not just live, but lives deeply, boldly, and meaningfully. Someone who builds today so profoundly that their impact lives forever. Struggle is not the end of your story. It is the birthplace of your strength. Your mindset is the silent architect drawing the blueprints of your future long before your hands begin to build it. Everything you create, everything you overcome, everything you aspire to become, it all begins in the unseen chambers of your mind. Your mindset is not just the way you think. It is the lens through which you interpret the world, the judge of what is possible, the internal compass that determines the direction and distance of your destiny. Before anything changes in your life, something must first change in your mind. If your thoughts remain the same, your days will repeat themselves. If your beliefs remain small, your life will remain smaller still. But the moment your mindset expands, your world begins to reshape itself around your new vision. Most people do not fail in life because they lack talent, potential, or opportunity. They fail because they are prisoners of a mindset that has never been challenged, stretched, or renewed. They walk through life with invisible chains made of old fears, old patterns, old wounds, and old ways of seeing themselves. And those chains keep them repeating the same choices, the same mistakes, the same limitations. To build a life that outlives you, you must be willing to break the mindset that outlived its purpose long ago. A powerful mindset begins with awareness. You must be willing to examine the thoughts you allow to guide your steps. If you believe life is unfair, you will live defensively. If you believe you are unlucky, you will stop trying. If you believe you are not enough, every effort will feel like a burden. But if you believe that growth is possible, that strength can be learned, that opportunities can be created, suddenly the world opens itself to you in ways you never imagined. Your mindset is the soil of your destiny. Whatever you plant there, consciously or unconsciously, will shape the future you walk into. Think about the difference between a person who approaches life with a survival mindset and one who carries a builder's mindset. The survival-minded person wakes each day asking, how do I make it through? They fear risk, avoid discomfort, and cling to the familiar because safety feels like success. But safety has never built anything magnificent. Safety has never shaped a legacy. Safety has never produced a life that echoes across time. The builder's mindset, on the other hand, asks, what can I create today? What can I improve? What can I elevate? The builder welcomes challenge because they understand that difficulty does not diminish them. It develops them. They see beyond the present, beyond temporary pain, beyond momentary frustration, because they know that greatness is crafted in the details of daily thought. Your mindset determines your response to struggle. When a storm hits, the limited mindset says, this is too much. The empowered mindset says, this is preparing me for more. When failure arrives, the limited mindset says, I should quit. The empowered mindset says, I must learn. When opportunity appears, the limited mindset says, I'm not ready. The empowered mindset says, I will grow into readiness. Your mindset transforms obstacles into teachers, pressure into progress, uncertainty into possibility. You must protect your mind as fiercely as you protect your future. What you allow into your mind becomes the architecture of your life. The conversations you entertain, the people you surround yourself with, the beliefs you rehearse daily, these are the materials that will either strengthen or weaken the foundation of your destiny. A single negative belief can sabotage an entire lifetime of potential. A single empowering belief can lift a person from despair to destiny. And here's the truth many ignore. You cannot build a powerful life with a powerless mindset. You cannot rise while thinking like someone who is sinking. You cannot grow while thinking like someone who is stuck. Your mindset must reflect the future you seek, not the past you survived. This means you must speak to yourself differently. You must challenge your own doubts. You must train your thoughts as intentionally as an athlete trains their body. Greatness is first mental before it becomes physical. Changing your mindset does not require perfection. It requires repetition. Each day you choose the thought that aligns with your highest self. You rewrite the script of your life. Each day you refuse the thought that reduces you. You take back territory from fear. Slowly, steadily, your inner voice transforms from critic to coach, from saboteur to supporter, from limitation to leadership. And when your inner voice changes, your outer world cannot remain the same. Mindset is not magic. It is mastery. It is the continuous practice of choosing vision over doubt, discipline over impulse, clarity over confusion. It is the daily commitment to think like the person you want to become, not the person you used to be. When your mindset aligns with your future, your actions follow. When your actions follow, your results transform. And when your results transform, your legacy begins to take shape. To build today and live forever, you must master your mind. Because long before anyone sees your greatness, you must believe it. Long before anyone celebrates your success, you must envision it. Long before your destiny unfolds, you must think like someone who deserves it. Your mindset is where your forever begins. And if you can win there, you can win anywhere. The courage to break your own limits. There comes a moment in every life when the walls that hold us back are no longer outside of us. They are within us. And step 5 is about that moment. The moment when you stop fighting the world and start confronting yourself. The moment when you stop blaming circumstances, unfairness, or timing, and begin to recognize that the biggest prison is the one built with your own doubts, fears, and long-held limitations. It takes extraordinary courage to look into the mirror and say, I am the one who must change. I am the one who must rise. I am the one who must break through. Most people never reach this stage, not because they are not capable, but because facing yourself is the hardest mountain you will ever climb. But if you can do this, if you can break the limits you set upon yourself, your life will begin to expand in ways that feel almost supernatural, almost miraculous. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the willingness to move despite fear. And the moment you decide to move, even trembling, even uncertain, something inside you awakens. You begin to understand that limits are rarely real, they are usually inherited, borrowed from society, shaped by the voices of people who never dared for themselves, formed by the opinions of the fearful, the cautious, the small-minded. When you were a child, you were limitless. You dreamed without permission. You believed without evidence. You acted without hesitation. But somewhere along the way, life tried to shrink you. And step 5 is about reclaiming the size of your soul. Breaking limits is not a loud act. It happens quietly, internally, in the small moments where you choose growth over comfort. It happens the moment you say, enough. I'm done living small. You feel a fire rise inside you. You feel something in you that has been sleeping for years begin to open its eyes. This is courage. Not an emotion, not confidence, but a decision. A decision to no longer sit in the shadows of your own potential. Think of all the times you stopped yourself before you even tried. Think of the opportunities you walked away from because you doubted your readiness, your talent, your worth. Think of the dreams you buried because someone once told you it was impossible. Think of the greatness within you that lived its life locked behind the bars of what if and not yet. Step 5 is your declaration that those days are over. It is your call to dig up every buried dream, every abandoned desire, every silenced ambition, and breathe life into them again. To break your limits, you must be willing to challenge the stories you tell yourself. Stories like, I'm too old, I'm too late, I'm not good enough, I don't know how. These are not truths. They are excuses disguised as wisdom. And the day you refuse to let your excuses guide your destiny is the day you begin to live freely. You must understand that no human being on this planet was born with certainty. No one begins with mastery. No one starts with confidence. Confidence is built, certainty is earned, skill is developed, and greatness is sculpted slowly, painfully, intentionally, by those who dare to cross the line drawn by their fears. Courage also means embracing failures as stepping stones, rather than shameful marks. Every person who has achieved greatness has failed more times than most people have even attempted. The limit breakers are the ones who learned to fail forward, to fall with purpose, to rise with more wisdom than they had before they fell. They are the ones who understood that falling is not the end. It is the polishing of character. It is the universe shaping you into someone strong enough to handle what you're asking for. And the moment you begin breaking your limits, life responds. You begin meeting people you never imagined meeting. Doors begin opening that you once believed were locked. Opportunities appear not because they weren't there before, but because you now walk at a frequency where you can finally see them. Your world expands because you expand. But here is the truth: breaking your limits is not a one-time event. It is a lifelong pattern. Every time you grow, new limits appear. Every time you rise, new fears emerge. Every time you evolve, new challenges test your commitment. And that is good. It means you are alive. It means you are progressing. It means you are living the life of someone who refuses to settle.